यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण। तो दिस इज अ इंग्लिश और हिंदी क्लास? English, okay. So we read and discuss. How do you do? It is a lecture or a study circle?
Discussion. Read
Okay.
paragraph.
And then discuss.
Paragraph.
Okay. So this is 18th chapter, Conversation with Prakashananda Saraswati. Teachings of Lord Chaitanya is a very beautiful book. Most of the devotees, when I first time read it, when I was first time going to read it, many devotees told it is a very technical book, some of them told very boring also, and very philosophical, hard to understand, difficult to go through book. But when I started reading, it was very interesting. Initially, there is a narration of how Rup Sanatan met Mahaprabhu. Then there is a discussion of philosophy, of different incarnations of Lord. All the discussions is there. In the first introduction itself, I found a very interesting thing. The first page, there it says, for maintaining this creation, the material world, Lord incarnates as Mahavishnu, as Garbhodaksha Vishnu, then as Kshirodaksha Vishnu, then he manages the entire creation and he looks after every living entity's maintenance. But as soon as anyone takes interest in becoming a devotee of Krishna, becoming a devotee of the Lord does not employ any other energy in between. He directly pays personal attention to the upcoming devotee also. There is not talking about devotee. When I read that, I was very happy. For marriage is such a big universe. He is depleting so many energies. But for one jiva in that whole system is showing interest in Krishna. Not that he has shown full interest, little interest. He has begun showing interest. At that level itself, Lord becomes active directly in that person's life. When I read that, I felt very hopeful and very personal. So then the conception that the whole book is going to be technical or philosophical was broken by that one statement. But later on, after that immediately I got one friend who was also reading same book in ashram. So then we read that book together. We read 70% we read together. After that, we could not continue. We had some other things to do then. But this was a nice book. In this book, Prabhupada has kept all the discussions that Mahaprabhu had with many devotees. How Mahaprabhu gave the bhakti principles to Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami. All that is there in Chaitanya Charitamrita, and Chaitanya Charitamrita mainly has these things. From there, Prabhupada has taken the philosophical discussions, tattva discussions, bhakti discussions from various places and put it in the form of one book. Just like Bhagavad Gita is there, which has teachings of Lord Krishna. There is only teaching, there is no pastime of any Mahabharata or anything. It's only teaching. So like this is a book. It's like that is Krishna Gita. This is Chaitanya Gita. Like that. This book is there. So in this, Prabhupada has put all the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with various devotees in the form of a summary. And this particular one with Prakashananda Saraswati. Now the chapter has gone half the way. Till now, there is some background given how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Varanasi on his way to Vrindavan, and there were many Mayavadis, and there are only one or two devotees. One was Chandrasekhar and Tapan Mishra, and one more becomes devotee, one Brahmana. So only they were there. Imagine a place where there are only Mayavadis and there is no Krishna Katha going to be spoken. And if somebody speaks Krishna Katha, then there will be opposition for that. Imagine there is no Katha going to happen in this campus anytime. It will become very dry. Anybody speaks about a personal form of Lord, then it will be opposed. That is the situation in Varanasi those days. And these were only two devotees. And for devotees, without hearing about Krishna, without discussing about Krishna, they feel what is the use of life. For them, it was a big austerity to stay there. When Mahaprabhu came there, it was a festival. And then, when Mahaprabhu was there, Mahaprabhu was chanting, dancing, doing kirtan. Other Mayavadi sannyasis and spiritualists, they were criticizing the town. Hearing that, these 3-4 devotees felt very unhappy. If people start, how will you feel if you have to stay in a place where your dear one is criticized? Suppose, would you like to stay in a place where your spiritual master is always criticized? Very hard, right? Difficult, right? You don't feel, you feel very pained everywhere. So like that, these devotees are feeling. Their beloved Lord is being criticized in front of them. So among them, then Mahaprabhu went to Vrindavan. Again he came back on his way back to Jagannath Puri. He came to Varanasi. Now this time he stayed little longer. He taught Shiksha to Sanatana Goswami for about 2 months or so. In that period, one Maharashtrian Brahmana who was a devotee, so he was feeling, how will I live in this town whole life among the sannyasis who continue criticizing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu even after he goes. He was feeling, to imagine that only, it was a nightmare for him to live whole life, not few days. It's not that generally when any problem comes, we have some hope that after some days it will go. But he's going to be in the same place for whole life, among the same people, with same conceptions. For him it was very difficult to imagine. Then he thought the only way by which they can realize Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Supreme Personality of Godhead is if they just once interact with him. There is no need of, because for Mayavadis and all, logic doesn't work. Because for everything they have counter logic. Logic has every logic has a counter logic. There is no end to that. So logic does not get concluded at one level. There are always, if you are here also, some people say this reason, if you are in some meetings or something like that, companies and all, everybody has their points to say. And for them, that point is valid. And objectively also see, there are some plus points of that, some plus points of this also. And which one to choose is finally up to whatever everyone feels. So logic has no strong reason to convince a person. So Mayavadis, they will find logical reason for everything. Therefore, to transform the heart, logic is insufficient. Logic can change the head, but logic cannot change the heart. Sometimes somebody preaches you very strongly, oh, this is this. Everything he quotes from Shastras, but heart is not accepting. Everything he saying is true, but still somehow there is difficulty to accept this way. So logic can change our head. It cannot change the heart. Even if we get all reasons to do something, but if we are not happy doing that, we will not do it. Even if it's correct, we will not do it. But if there is something little bit here and there, and your beloved devotee tells you, Prabhu, can you please help me to do this? You will do it. Full heart you will do it. Right? Like that, this Brahmana who was from Maharashtra was living there, who had settled in Varanasi. So he thought if they once meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Mahaprabhu's interaction with Mahaprabhu will immediately transform their heart. So therefore he invites all the sannyasis to his home, including Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Otherwise, how will they agree to meet? And the whole discussion was so far. Mahaprabhu comes and sits at the entrance, and other sannyasis feel you are a sannyasi, you should not sit here. You should come and sit with us. Mahaprabhu with great humility says that I am not qualified. I have taken sannyas from a lesser Bharati Sampradaya. So I am not qualified. With great humility he says. At the same time, he is so effulgent. His effulgence charms all the sannyasis sitting there. Along with that, when he shows humility, for them effulgence means it's like Shrestha. And Shrestha, when he becomes very humble, he becomes more attractive. So that's how Mahaprabhu caught their heart. Now, actually, if you read from CC, there is a discussion, philosophical discussion, and the discussion goes very beautiful. And wherever Mahaprabhu has discussed philosophy with someone who is externally superior, for example, Keshav Kashmiri, and in this case, or even Sarva Bhattacharya, they were all externally superiors. Sarva Bhattacharya was almost like a acharya of the whole town. Raja Guru, kind of Raj Purohit, he was there. And then Keshav Kashmiri was a Digvijay. And here Prakashanand Saraswati is the leader of so many sannyasis. So like this, wherever you find Mahaprabhu talking to a very prominent person, and his external role is not as significant as him, you can observe Mahaprabhu's dialogues with him. Mahaprabhu presents the truth in such humility, with such respect. Especially when I read Keshav Kashmiri's episode, is very, very heart touching. The kind of respect Mahaprabhu keeps and still passes the truth to the other person's heart. So beautiful. Here also same thing happens. Now, initially he tells that I am a fool. My spiritual master told me to chant. I'm fooling. I don't know Vedanta and everything. My spiritual master told, I'm a fool, therefore I need not read so much. Just chant the holy name. So then that conversation happens. Then about Vedanta, there is some description written by Prabhupada. Now here, it comes ahead of this. Someone can read?
As long as one,
Or should I read? I don't know, it will not go in the recording. I think. It's okay.
as long as one is within the limited jurisdiction of the activity or is involved in mental situation, he may perhaps be eligible to study or teach theoretical knowledge of the Vedanta, but he cannot understand the supreme, eternal, transcendental, completely liberated vibration of Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Ram,
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
One who has achieved perfection in chanting this transcendental vibration does not have to separately learn the philosophy of Vedanta. According to the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the bona fide spiritual master, those who do not understand that this transcendental vibration is not different from the Supreme, yet who try to become Mayavadi philosophers, expert in Vedanta, are all fools. Studying the Vedanta Sutra by one's own efforts, ascending process of knowledge, is a sign of foolishness. On the other hand, he who has attained taste for chanting this transcendental vibration has actually reached the completion of the Vedanta. In this connection, there are two verses in Srimad Bhagavatam which are very instructive. The purport of the first is that if a person is chanting the transcendental vibration, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. then even if he was born in the family of lowest of human beings, it is to be understood that in his previous life he performed all types of renunciations, austerities, and sacrifice, and studied all the Brahma Sutras.
No, which shloka is this? Aho bantashapachato gariyan yajjevagre vartate namatubhyam te pustapaste joho shushnuraryan brahmanuchurnam grinanti yete. So here is saying, beginning of the paragraph is saying, Prabhupada is writing, as long as one is within the limited jurisdiction of fruitive activities or is involved in the mental speculation. Fruitive activity means karma, karma kanda. Then speculation means jnana. Actually, when you are understanding bhakti philosophy, the understanding of karma and jnana will be very essential to separate bhakti. Suppose you have, what do you say, मिलावट वाला क्या बोलते हैं इंग्लिश में, मिल्क आइटम रहे या फिर ग्रेन्स रहे or anything, unless you know both what is the actual item and the nature of what is the contamination, you will not be able to separate only that. You will not be able to make it pure. Sometimes what will they mix? In haldi they mix some wooden powder, food powder, or in milk they mix water. Like that many things will be, you will find. In today's time, in every thing there is some mixture. You will find it. It is very hard to get pure things. So unless we know what is the contamination part, we will not be able to segregate, take out the pure thing. Similarly, it is very essential to know what is this karma and what is this jnana, the path of karma, path of jnana. Then to separate the path of bhakti completely, pure bhakti becomes very easy, it's possible. So those, as long as one is within the limited jurisdiction of fruitive activities or is involved in the mental speculation, he perhaps be eligible to study or teach theoretical knowledge of Vedanta Sutra. He can study. Such a person can study Vedanta Sutra, but he cannot understand the supreme, eternal, transcendental vibration of Hare Krishna mantra. One cannot reach the conclusion. He can read everything, but he will not understand what to do at the end. Even it's true for everyone. Unless he comes in the association of some devotee who will reveal him. Till then it is very hard. For example, even Tapan Mishra, when Mahaprabhu was Nimai Pandit, before sannyas, he had gone to Bengal for a educational tour. Educational or what do you call, series of seminars he gave many places. So he had gone there. That time, Tapan Mishra was living in Bengal, Bangladesh. Yeah, he's Bengal. So there, Tapan Mishra, he had read all the scriptures. He would study a lot. And he was eager to know the truth. What is the purpose of life? What is the goal of life? But he was not able to ascertain. He was very confused. It was very difficult for him to understand. After reading, after understanding what is to be done. Until he met Mahaprabhu. He is a sincere person and accessing the Shastras only. But to ascertain what to do, it becomes very difficult unless one gets the association of a sadhu. And in this case, Mahaprabhu himself gave the association. He tells, chanting the holy name is the sadhana and Krishna Prem is sadhya. Sadhana, sadhya. When these two things are clear, what is sadhya and what is sadhana, then you are peaceful. Then you will not get distracted by other things. But when sadhya and sadhana are not clear, then person becomes very confused. Here in our temple also, many speakers come. These spiritual things is not about jnana or karma. Many devotees come. Some devotees emphasize book distribution. Some devotees emphasize studying Srimad Bhagavatam. Some devotees emphasize chanting Hare Krishna constantly. And some devotees emphasize devotee care. Some devotees emphasize Pujari Seva. One weekend, one Prabhuji came and he gave emphasis. He gave a lecture on DT worship. He's a member of DT worship, DT ministry committee. So he said, if you don't become a pujari, your life is waste. Your life is incomplete, he said. Then the following weekend, one book distributor later came. The same thing. Without distributing books, you will not get mercy of Prabhupada. So like that, every devotee gives different emphasis. And sometimes devotees get confused. Prabhu, last week, that Maharaj told, you should do this. And this week, this Prabhuji is telling this, should do this. I'm really confused what to do. Unless one catches the essence, what is the sadhya, it becomes very difficult to ascertain what is. Who gets confused in such situations, whether even in Bhakti purview, who gets confused, who is not clear about sadhya and sadhana. Someone who is clear that pleasing Krishna and developing love for Krishna is the goal. Sadhya. Sadhya means what is to be attained. Final objective of the project. That is to be attained. That is sadhya. So once you decide the end result, what you want, then you can design the program accordingly. For example, how many of you have studied hard for cracking some entrance exam in 12th? Most of us have made attempts. Right. So that interest came at the end of 12th or at the beginning, at the end of 10th standard? Right. As soon as you graduated, completed 10th standard, immediately you got an interest that at the end of 2 years, I want to crack this exam. Right. The desire came at the beginning of 11th standard. Right. It's not that, oh no, its goal is very high, we should not aspire for it. Never thought like that. First, the desire to attain came, then the qualification was acquired to gain it. You studied 2 years, then you became qualified to appear for the exam. Correct. But before getting qualified for the exam, 2 years before only you are having the desire to attain that. Because you have the desire to crack that exam and get into that particular college or particular rank you want to get. Then you found out what are the books I should study, which is the best coaching academy or college, right? Which are the best notes or question banks, most probable questions that come. So found out what is the sadhya. How many years? Some people plan how many years I should study for next 2 years. They plan every day 6 hours means I can cover this reference book, this book, plan everything. At least I remember in our class, people would plan like anything. So with all that planning, the sadhana became clear when the goal is clear. Similarly, in a bhakti, what we want to attain, when that is clear, then the sadhana also becomes very clear. Okay, I want to please Krishna, I want to become a devotee of Krishna. So what is the process Prabhupada has given? That we can find out by reading Prabhupada books and by discussing any questions that we have as senior devotees and discussing those who are experienced. Basically, sadhana and sadhya has to be clear. Then all our practices become, our life becomes free from confusion. So once you know that Krishna's mercy is obtained by pleasing the spiritual master, then it is not in the activity, whether I do book distribution or whether I do DT worship or whether I do Vaishnava Seva. These are all sadhanas. With that, if the spiritual master is getting pleased. Now, if you see Prabhupada's disciples, someone is standing for book distribution. Why? Because for them Prabhupada told to distribute books. And someone is standing for temple construction. Why? Because for them Prabhupada told construct temples. Someone is standing for just preaching vigorously. Prabhupada told them, preach boldly. So seeing them, Prabhuji, which one we should do, we should not get confused. All of them are doing only one thing. They are doing what their spiritual master told. Similarly, whatever our spiritual master tells us, who is immediately helping us in our progressing, that is the pradhan thing for us. And other things also we can do. There is no bar for doing other things. But what helps one, what the principle is, pleasing spiritual master is the principle. And for Radhesham Prabhu, Radhana Swami Maharaj told, do you preaching. For him, that is the sadhana, main thing for him. Right. And for Sarvashambhu, Gopalkrishna Maharaj told, do good distribution. For him, that is the primary thing, main thing. Along with that, he can also do other services. Right. So the both of them, someone who does not know the principle, it will think that both are different. Both are have their own stand. No, they don't have their own stand. But both of them have the same stand. That they want to be the spiritual master. That is the principle. The principle is not about distributing books or bringing youth. That is not the sadhana. Sadhana is pleasing spiritual master. Other things can happen like that. So the is clear that pleasing spiritual master is the principle which everyone has in their practice. But then the person will be free from confusion. Okay, किसी हफ्ते बुद्धिज्म बोला, किसी हफ्ते तुलसी महाराज ने पूजा बोला, अगले हफ्ते हरिनाम बोला, ठीक है? All are correct only. Probably what I'm going to do, I do clear. So therefore, when there is clarity of sadhya and sadhana, person will be peaceful. When Mahaprabhu met Tapan Mishra, he told him what is the goal and what is the means. Krishna Prem is the goal, Hare Krishna Mahamantra is the means. And Tapan Mishra was peaceful then. And then he came to Varanasi. Now, as long as, therefore it is important to know what is principle, yeah, and what are the other things. In this case, what is, unless one gets the association of a devotee, it is very difficult to understand what is sadhana and sadhya. Example is Tapan Mishra. And here Prabhupada is writing same thing. Unless someone, even if someone reads Vedanta Sutra means, I hope you are aware Vedanta Sutra. Vedanta Sutra, yeah. Vyasdev wrote the summary of all the scriptures that he wrote in the form of sutras. 555 or 515 sutras are there. He wrote them. Summarizing all the scriptures that he had written, thousands and lakhs of slokas he wrote, he wrote that. That is called Vedanta Sutra, the conclusion of all the writings that he had done. And Vedanta Sutra has many commentaries. Commentary means an explanation to the principle. To Vedanta Sutra, many people give commentary, explanation. One is Shankaracharya also gave Sharirika Bhashya. Then Madhvacharya gave, Ramanacharya gave. Ramanacharya gave Sri Bhashya. Madhvacharya, I don't remember the name. So there are commentaries. Vyasdev himself also gave commentary. Srimad Bhagavatam. Right. And then someone did not accept that Srimad Bhagavatam is a commentary. Ramananda did not accept. Then Gaudiya wrote one more commentary, Govinda Bhashya. So Vedanta is the conclusion of all the scriptures. And Bhagavatam is an elaboration of the conclusion. Itself. So when we read Vedanta Sutra and all the scriptures, we will not be able to understand what to do. So it needs association of devotees. The one who has achieved perfection in chanting this transcendental vibration does not have to separately learn the Vedanta philosophy of the Vedanta Sutra. So if he has already understood the conclusion, then he does not have to go through everything again. According to the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the bona fide spiritual master, those who do not understand Okay. According to the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the bona fide spiritual master, those who do not understand that this transcendental vibration is non-different from the Supreme, yet who try to become Mayavadi philosophers, expert in Vedanta Sutra, are all fools. Why Prabhupada is saying this? According to teachings of Lord Chaitanya, the bona fide spiritual master, those who do not understand that this transcendental vibration is non-different from the Supreme, yet try to become Mayavadi philosophers, expert in Vedanta Sutra, are all fools.
They are studying those who do not understand.
Yeah,
It's not very concept.
very not. Yeah. Those who do not understand this principle and still they Vedanta Sutra studies, they will not be able to understand them. They are fools. I get confused because Prabhupada is using the word bona fide spiritual master. I know it's a little confusing. Okay. On the other hand, one who has attained a taste for chanting this transcendental vibration has actually reached the Vedanta conclusions of the Vedanta. In this connection, there are two verses. One is the purport of the first verse is that if a person is chanting transcendental Hare vibration, Hare Krishna mantra, then even if he was born in the family of lowest human being, it is to be understood that in his previous lives he performed all types of renunciation, austerity, sacrifice, studied all Brahma Sutras. The purport of second verse is that one who chants the two syllables Hari must be considered who has studied all the Vedas, Rig Veda, Atharva Veda, Yajur Veda, Sam Veda. But it, someone has reached the conclusion, it doesn't go to again read everything. But why should we read it now? We are chanting, why should we read Bhagavatam then? Any thought? Yeah, correct. And then? Yeah. So devotees read Bhagavatam for relishing. Holy name and Krishna's glories are not different. So both will remind us of Krishna and both are Krishna. That is absolute platform. So devotees read Bhagavatam, and by reading Bhagavatam, our chanting becomes more pure, as we said. Our conceptions of this, the truth, becomes clearer. For example, this understanding that holy name is not different than Supreme Lord. What does it mean? Little holy name and Supreme Lord are not different. Holy name is Supreme. So this realization, this understanding is not so easy. So these things comes by reading Srimad Bhagavatam and associating with devotees. The Thakur says our bhajan becomes purer when we associate with the sadhus. If you read Prabhupada Chandrika, he writes that. I don't remember the lines, but there it says, by association of the devotees, our bhajan becomes purer. Bhajan is chanting or reading any sadhana that we do. It becomes purer. Marjana haya bhajana, something that comes. Our bhajan gets purer by associating. By reading Srimad Bhagavatam, our material conceptions start going away. Then, when we are freed from material consumption, chanting becomes more and more purer. For example, if we read Prahlad Maharaj teachings, Prahlad Maharaj says, just like happiness, just like misery come without any effort, happiness also comes without any effort. So therefore, do not make any effort for happiness. This is other people want to make so many efforts for just to become happy. They don't do this. But as soon as they hear Prahlad Maharaj teachings, then he becomes relieved. But one question comes: if we stop doing any effort, how do we maintain ourselves? If I give my job, if I give everything, how do I maintain myself? Prahlad Maharaj is not saying that. Prahlad Maharaj is saying, do not make efforts for getting happiness. All the efforts that you do not expect happiness from that. Do it only for the maintenance. Our job, our family responsibility, whatever we have, our body needs that we do for maintenance. We are not seeking happiness from that. We are seek happiness only in bhakti. If you seek happiness from all these things, it is not guaranteed. Misery also will come, happiness also will come, duality that will come. But the bhakti bliss, actual bliss is in the bhakti. That is experienced within the heart. Bhagavan is saying, do not expect happiness in the material world. Material world maintenance. There are two efforts. One effort is for maintenance. Another effort is for luxury or name or fame, which are unnecessary. There are unnecessary efforts. Bhagavan puts them in unnecessary efforts category. For example, if I have this Samsung phone, I can do all of my functions with this phone. But if I want to upgrade this to iPhone, I heard there are phones of 1 lakh or 1.5 lakh. To go for that. So if I make an effort to upgrade my 10K Samsung phone to 1 lakh iPhone, that effort it takes effort, right? So that effort is unnecessary. Prahlad Maharaj says. Happiness उसमें नहीं है, effort उसमें मत डालो, Samsung काम चलाओ, put that effort in bhakti. Seek happiness from there. So when we hear Prahlad Maharaj teaching, our conceptions about life becomes clear. But then even if some problems come in life, we understand the nature of those problems. They are very external. The mind remains peaceful, knowing the reality of the world. The Bhagavatam shows us the reality of this world, with which we can become a little peaceful. क्योंकि ऐसे ही होने वाला है, गाली पढ़ने वाला ऑफिस में, ऐसे कोई एम्प्लॉय नहीं है जिसको गाली नहीं पड़ता ऑफिस में, ऐसा कोई व्यक्ति नहीं है जिसको क्रिटिसिज्म मिलता नहीं इस दुनिया में. If someone has accepted this reality, then he will not accept only appreciation. Right? So Bhagavatam clears our conceptions. Then with that cleared conception, we can chant peacefully. One is, it clears the conceptions about the material world and it opens the reality of the spiritual truths. So therefore, now here this Prabhupada is writing, quoting the two slokas. What is time? One is someone is chanting Hare Krishna, he has done everything in the past. But I think she has reached the conclusion. Right? But we have not read the past. I don't think I have read, I don't remember anything from the past life. Neither I feel familiar with any of the scriptures. This is one chance, either having done all that, or one chance having received Vaishnava is association. Association of Vaishnava. What all the efforts can do to a living entity to progress, a Vaishnava can do it in a very short time. The progress that one can make by doing all this. 6 महीने का उपवास, साल भर का उपवास, फिर तपा भी है, जो भी कर्म करने ज्ञान करने सब करके जितना एफर्ट करके वो प्रगति करेगा, उतना एफर्ट साधु संग करके तुरंत पालेगा. समझ में आ रहा है? That's what Prabhupada did when he went to West. People who were unaware of any spiritual things, Vedic things also, they just were uplifted just because Prabhupada gave them association. Sadhu Sangha and all these efforts. Actually, Sadhu Sangha cannot compare to anything else. Cannot compare to anything else. There is no substitute for that. Even if we have all these things, all the scriptures, without Sadhu Sangha, that lot does not open. Very hard. Unless there is direct Krishna Kripa, which is very rare. Krishna will not give it. To some, Krishna has given direct Kripa. That is to show the potency of his Kripa. But otherwise, generally, he does not. But Sadhu is just open. Therefore, Sadhu Sangha is a qualification. The Prabhupada says, I have made a qualification. Now, after reading this verse, we can think, oh, I'm chanting Hare Krishna, that means I have read all the scriptures in the past. I have done all the yajnas in the past. And I have done all the charitable work, all the whatever, everything. Maybe in the last life I have done it, therefore I'm chanting today. It is, I don't feel in my personal case. It is by the association of devotees who told Krishna is supreme, chanting is the goal. Then we can do so easily because the devotee told us. But if we want to try to find ourselves, what is the truth? It is highly impossible. So therefore, one is someone who is chanting Hare Krishna, we should know that he has faithfully accepted some Vaishnava association. That is the his qualification. Okay. But if it is time, then we would have to go to office and all. You can carry on. Okay. Yeah. In case somebody wants to prepare for the office, they can go also. Office के लिए जाना है, तैयारी करना है. You can carry on also. Any question you can take.
You mentioned about sadhana and sadhana. And my sadhana is different. I stand for something else. Then you understand that this devotee have a associate with me. The sadhana is not dealing with the sadhana. It may not be completely opposite. Whatever that is. Then it becomes really. So let's say people are saying yes. Yeah, the other devotees standing for something that we have some
differences and that's right. Actually, sadhana is not about activity. These activities themselves are not sadhana. The higher principle is to please the spiritual master. Of course, distribution of goods or worshipping deity or any of the activities are very devotional. But the higher principle is all those are done when there is spiritual guidance given for that. So that shelter of a Vaishnava is the principle. Shelter of the spiritual master is the principle. For them, that is important because the spiritual master told them. Following the spiritual master is the principle, which has manifested in the form of distribution, manifested as we preaching, or manifested as we worship, whatever. Although others may not be able to, others may not be understanding that. They are able to still thinking externally. This is the main thing, and others are useless. We will not get disturbed by that. We have to understand that who is not clear about this understanding. Once he gets clear about this, then he will also start respecting everyone. Right. This is depending on your emphasizing your service. The problem is when you criticize other services. You can emphasize book distribution, no problem. You can emphasize you preaching, no problem. You can emphasize also, no problem. But if you criticize other things, that is a problem. You realize the problem. Therefore, the Prabhupada was very happy whenever any devotee appreciated other devotee's service. If you read Servant of Servant, Ramakrishna Maharaj will often write, Prabhupada, this devotee is doing the service. Nice, nice. This devotee is doing, he wrote a big letter. He even wrote many reports about services. Prabhupada would sometimes hardly reply. But when he wrote that long letter, what all other devotees are doing, Gargamuni is doing this, or Ramananda is doing this. Prabhupada was very happy. And Prabhupada realized that you are appreciating the devotee so nice, you are making progress, he says. So that was very pleasing to Prabhupada. And Prabhupada was always happy whenever someone completing his own service extended to serve other devotees in the service. That also Prabhupada appreciated very much. Ramakrishna Maharaj knows this also. That I completed my project, maintained my project, and I also went to Los Angeles and assisted this Brahmananda and to establish more Harinam Sankirtan there. Prabhupada was very happy. So that kind of non-envious heart, one can chant, appreciate the Lord, glorify the Lord wholeheartedly. He can experience bhakti bliss. As soon as one emphasizes one service and criticizes another service, you develop some offensive feeling towards that. So that is something very obstructive for growth of Bhakti Lata. Right. So that we should avoid. Just like when I say, my mother is best. Correct. For me, my mother is best. Because other than she will give me everything that I need for my nourishment. And for my classmate, his mother is best. Correct. It's true also. Every child, his mother is best for him. It's true. But if I say that auntie is bad, that is not good. So that broad understanding has to be there. At the same time, loyalty has to be there. There is broad understanding that for everyone, their mother is good. And there is loyalty that for me, my mother is important. But I respect aunties also. If there is something I can do for them, I do that also within my capacity. But for my mother, I do anything beyond my capacity also. Extend and break myself to do that. So that is loyalty, and broad-mindedness is to respect all. Especially in ISKCON, we are living in a very, it's a international, ISKCON has international presence. And there are diverse devotees, very wide variety of devotees, inspired in a very different way. Everyone is inspired in a different way, not same way. So to not offend is a challenge. We may end up offending someone just saying externals. Therefore, we have to become broad-minded to keep our consciousness not obstructed by the offenses. Otherwise, just by seeing externals, we may tend to keep negative feelings about them. Speaking is one thing, but even thinking also takes our energy and bhakti. So therefore, to maintain respect is good. Does it make sense? Yeah. Okay. 8:15 हो गया. Hare Krishna. Cool. We went through all this. When I joined in 14, till 2019, many devotees came to temple, many devotees emphasized different things. So I was always confused. And even in some service also, a lot of difference here among devotees. I was not able to reconcile. It took time for me to understand why they're different. And then it took time for me to understand. One big problem was I did not discuss these things with any mature devotee. I was trying to think myself and I did not take help externally. But later on, in 2019, in some discussion, one devotee explained me some things. Then from that point onward, many things became very simple. So by the association of devotees, by discussing with the mature devotees, our understanding becomes mature. Discussing with mature devotees, we become mature. Now we are getting so much association here. There's so many devotees accessible here. Although spiritual masters may be coming once in a year or something like that, but there are still many mature devotees in ISKCON, accessible to us in Pune at least, many are there. When we spend time with them, with any questions or any service, then we learn things. The same with me also. I am fortunate to get. I think that we can discuss personally. This is different topic. And devotees have to go to their next duties.